For just the second time this season, South Carolina is able to pick up an SEC win, and they do so against a Georgia Bulldog team who gave them a pretty good fight in the first half. Collyn Taylor joining me now. And Collyn, we saw that first half out of the Bulldogs. It did not look like it was going to be South Carolina's day by any means, but they were able to get things going thanks to a huge run in the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest here. I think Frank Martin said it best. South Carolina fouled way too much in the first half. I think 20 or 21 of Georgia's 40 points came at the free throw line. Georgia only shot 4 of 8 in the second half, and that certainly helped. And then South Carolina's offense kind of had some proof of concept in the second, and you're able to turn it on and do what you've done for when you've been successful offensively for the last 10 minutes of the game, and you get a win that was much needed for this program, much needed for this team in general, and now you get to turn your attention to Vanderbilt and trying to build on this and turn it into the team Frank and the rest of the staff thought they could be at the beginning of the year.
One of the things that Frank mentioned to begin his press conference was just confidence, being able to get this team to have that confidence that they just haven't been able to have the last couple weeks. And one of those players, when you hear that word, confidence, you think about Jermaine Couisnard, who did not play last game against Arkansas. That was a coach's decision. He was out there today, and he had some huge plays, especially on that run in the second half. Being able to have him make a difference, what did you see out of him? And, obviously it's been a long season. Injuries, he's been banged up, and we've heard Frank say that he's just trying to find that inner peace. It looked like he had that today.
Aggression. I mean, that's what, when Jermaine Couisnard is healthy and mentally locked in and mentally stable compared to what he's been. Mentally stable might not be the right word, but just mentally consistent, the right mental state. You've seen that aggression from him, and the 2 plays that he had to bring it within 1 and then ultimately take the lead, I believe, were in transition. He's pushing the ball after a turnover or a missed shot, and he gets to the rim and finishes, and that's what Jermaine Couisnard gives you when he's at his best, when he is playing the way you expect him to play. And South Carolina needs more of that. They need more of that from him with Jacoby Wright as a freshman point guard, Devin Carter straining his hamstring. You need that at the point guard spot, and if Jermaine Couisnard can give you that, you feel good about your chances moving forward in a lot of these games down the back half.
Is there anything that really stood out to you outside of the fact of South Carolina being able to go on that run and be able to get that momentum in the second half?
It's proof of concept. Like I said, South Carolina, Jaquan Woodley was really good in the defense in the last 10 minutes. I think he ended with 5 rebounds, 3 blocks, 2 steals, plus 14. And you have proof of concept offensively. Force turnovers, force missed shots, and then get out and run in transition and make good shots. 29 fast break points. They showed some aggression, and when you have a guy like Keyshawn Bryant showing some aggression, getting to the rim, same with Jermaine Couisnard, you have the shooters on the outside who can knock down shots, the Stevensons of the world, the Couisnards at times, James Reese, who needs to shoot the ball better than he did today. But you have those guys that can knock down those shots when you're driving the ball and getting to the rim. It opens up almost everything for you offensively.
What would you tell people about maybe they look at it, especially in the first half, and they see South Carolina just, throw up as many threes as they did, and they weren't getting them to drop? What would you tell those people? Because it just doesn't sound like Frank is ready to pull the plug on these guys from shooting. I mean, obviously he shared his displeasure in some, and there's a difference between taking those shots and then just going down and hucking them up. It just doesn't sound like he's to that point where he's going to be like, hey, we're not shooting threes. But it just seemed like in the second half they were more aggressive in the paint, and that led to a lot of things. That allowed them to be able to have some open shots more on the perimeter.
Yeah, I think that there is a difference. There's a difference between a 3 that comes within the flow of an offense that's a smart shot and a desperation shot or a shot that you're trying to do a little bit too much. And South Carolina was taking smarter 3s early. They just weren't going in, and then they started to hit the panic mode button a little bit offensively, which they've done at times, and hit bad shots. But then you saw them after really the last 20 minutes of the game, especially the last 10, it's almost like a switch was flipped. They started to get more turnovers. Georgia started to kind of falter offensively. They weren't fouling, and they were able to get out and have some game flow and really get into the open court. And when you're in the open court and you're confident and you're knocking down shots, that's a dangerous thing. And if South Carolina can bottle that and take it into Vanderbilt, and then this last stretch of the SEC play, they have something to work with. Are they going to win every single game? Statistically, probably not. But you have proof of concept. You have the ability to stay in games, and you have an old enough team to where, if you play like you did the last 10 minutes today, you have a chance to beat a lot of these teams in the league.
So 2-4 now.
Yep.
In conference play. Now you have Vanderbilt coming into town, a team that you beat a couple weeks ago. Your only other conference win outside of Georgia being today. even though you beat Vanderbilt, it came right down to the wire. They have a very talented. They got some very talented guys. I mean, you talk about Pippen Jr. in particular. What does South Carolina need to do to be able to get that win, and more importantly, be able to get this ship just turned around, knowing that you still have plenty of conference basketball still ahead of you?
You need Jermaine Couisnard to play like he did at the second half against Vanderbilt up there. He had a really good game. You need to keep Scottie Pippen contained, which they did a good job of in the first half. You need to keep Vanderbilt off the free throw line. And if you can do those things, you have a pretty good shot at winning, especially at home.
Well, he's Collyn Taylor. I'm Mike Uver for the latest on all your Gamecock news. Keep it locked in to GamecockCentral.com.